Alright, so here we are with a MK1 video, and I saw a few channels making videos like this, so might as well just go ahead and add my thoughts in, I guess. So, yeah, what happened to MK1? What happened to MK1? You know, funny enough, I covered a lot of the incidents that happened with MK1, you know, mainly the microtransactions incidents, but really, I mean, there's just so much wrong with this game, and I remember the day the game came out, I was so happy playing it. I even made a review. I think I even gave it a high score, you know. I think I gave it like an 8, a 7 or an 8. I don't remember my score, but the reason I don't remember it is because that is not what I would give the game nowadays, because that was before everything happened, you know. That was before the store was even up, you know. We didn't even know there was going to be microtransactions to this level. We didn't even know that there was going to be exclusive skins in the store, because, you know, that just never happened before. They don't normally do that, but they do with this game. So, yeah, I know I already covered some of the incidents, but just like, what happened to this game? I mean, this might be the fastest fall off for a Mortal Kombat game ever. I don't even think MK11 or Injustice 2 fell off this hard. And yeah, look, man, it's just, there's just so many problems that all work together to create this, what is happening here. So where do I even begin? You know, I didn't really plan this video out, but where do I begin? I mean, well, I guess we could start with the good. I like the graphics and I like the gameplay. Alright, so let's move on to everything else. So, let's just start off with the stuff that would bother the casuals, right? And then we'll move on to the stuff that bothers people like me. People who aren't just here to play offline. So, let's start off with the casual stuff. And some of the casual stuff does actually affect people who aren't casual. So I'll explain that in a second. It's gonna be, I have no idea how long this video is gonna be, but I'm just gonna lay it all out, you know, all the problems this game has. So, number one, the most casual thing in the whole game. But, you know, you don't have to be a casual player to enjoy this. Even the pro players enjoy this. The story mode. What is wrong with the story mode? Well, the story mode is very high quality. Very high quality. So, you know, no problems there. I would say the main problem with the story mode is, it's kind of just, you know, it starts off really interesting, you know. Not much is happening, but the world is really interesting, right? And it feels like pure Mortal Kombat again. And then they get to the timeline stuff, and you realize that, by the way, spoilers, I guess, but, you know, just, I mean, you realize that this is not just a new little Mortal Kombat universe where they're just going throughout the world. You realize that this game is actually a direct story sequel to MK11. And it's just like, really, dude? Like, really? There's nothing wrong with the cutscenes. It's all high quality. The final battle is super sick. Kind of. It's a little lackluster. The main villains kind of go out really easily. But, you know, running up the pyramid and you're fighting all these crazy, like, characters that just don't exist normally. It's great, you know. But, I mean, it's overdone, I would say. You know, more timeline stuff. We just spent the past 4 years with this timeline, Mortal Kombat 11 stuff, and it all turns out that you know, halfway through the MK1 story. Plot twist, it's an MK11 sequel. It's not a new universe, it's just one of many outcomes of MK11, and all the outcomes exist together pretty much. So, story, even though it is high quality, if you are someone who cares about the lore, I guess, it's probably a disappointing story, because you're just retreading MK11. Literally, it goes over MK11 again, pretty much. You know, you're fighting Quan Chi. Well, Quan Chi wasn't in MK11, but you're fighting Shang Tsung, and you beat Shang Tsung again, 2 games in a row. And it's just like, really, dude? Really? 2 games in a row where you're fighting the same villain? And it would have been fine if it was like classic Shang Tsung, but it's not. It's, you know, the timekeeper Shang Tsung, you know? So you're pretty much just fighting the same exact guy for 2 games, you know? And it's like, whether you like it or not, it's not a crazy new original story, because it's actually a sequel, you know? It's not like some restart, and it feels really good at the start. It feels like, yes, we know that it's a restart of MK11, right? We know that. They go over that really early. But that's what it feels like. It feels like it's nothing more. They're just reliving their lives. And the world feels really good, and it feels like Mortal Kombat, you know? And then it turns out, oh, this was just one of the timelines, and it's just like, oh, okay, well, what was the point of MK11 then? You know? So, story, not off to a great start, but it was very high quality. So, whatever your complaints are on that, you know, you feel how you feel about that, but it was a high quality story. However, the actual story itself was kind of pointless, you know? Next part, the next complaint. So the next complaint is also, I would say, more for the casuals, but it does affect me as well. Invasions. So if you played other Mortal Kombat games, you know about the Towers of Time. You know, they were in Injustice 2 and MK11. And the Towers of Time weren't really great, but you know what? Wow. Does Invasions suck? So, if you don't know what Invasions is, it's pretty much a board game where you walk on this board, and each of the spots on the board are fights. So you slowly walk to the next fight, you start the fight, and then you beat them up, you finish the fight, you walk to the next part on the board, you finish that fight, you walk to the next part of the board, you finish that fight. You know, you're leveling up, I guess, but you don't unlock stuff for leveling up, you're just slightly increasing imaginary numbers that will increase your health or your damage or whatever, you know? So all of that, and it takes so I've only done it once, okay? But the one time I did it, it took about 7 hours to beat it. And if you don't know, the game is broken up into seasons. So season 1 had this really cool scorpion skin. So that means you have to beat season 1 of Invasions to get the skin. So you beat season 1 of Invasions, which again is a horrible, repetitive, tedious board game that takes about 7 hours. And then you get the skin. Essentially what would be like a tier 100 skin in a game with a battle pass. It's essentially a tier 100 battle pass skin, but it is free, and obviously it's not a battle pass, but it's just as tedious and grindy as one anyways. So, and essentially, when that season ends, another season starts, you get a different board, and you go through the board game again for that season, and then you get the skin at the end. So yeah, I only did season 1 because I'm not doing that ever again. I'm not doing that ever again. Because even, don't get me wrong, even though the skins are absolute heat. They're amazing skins. Perfect skins. Number 1, the first skin was for Scorpion. Scorpion is not good in this game. Number 2, the second skin was for Natara. Natara is not good in this game. Number 3, the third skin was for Subzero. Subzero is not good in this game. They are good skins, but number 1, I don't even play the characters, and number 2, they're frustrating to play because they're just bad. So, 7 hours of grinding to get a skin for bad characters. So far, the characters are bad. And that's just annoying, right? I mean, like, there's no other way to put it. The mode isn't fun at all. So, yeah. Invasions is worse than Towers of Time. I think everyone can agree to that. So, we have a... It depends on how you feel about the story mode. Story mode is... That's how you feel about it. But then we have Invasions. That's not an opinion. It is the worst single-player mode that they've had in Mortal Kombat. I don't feel like that's an opinion at all. I feel like that's pretty, like, a fair conclusion. Most people would agree to that, I would imagine. So yeah, no one likes that mode. Not a good mode. But let's get into the third casual aspect that also can affect people like me. The third casual aspect is the customization. There's not much to be said here. Let me just explain this. In the previous game, Mortal Kombat 11, you could customize your skin. You can customize 3 pieces of gear for each character. So you could change a sword, gauntlets, you know, or a mask for each character. So you could change 3 separate pieces of gear on each character, as well as you can change their entire skin. You could also change their intro. They can get a completely different intro. You can also change their outro. They get a completely different outro. I believe that was it for the customization. So yeah, pretty good, right? So what can you customize in Mortal Kombat 1? In Mortal Kombat 1, you can customize their skin and 1 piece of gear. That's it. Their skin and 1 piece of gear. That's it. I feel like that's the end of that topic. I don't really think I need to say any more about that. I think that speaks for itself. Whether you're a casual or not, I mean, your character isn't going to look nowhere near as cool as they did in MK11. Even though there are good skins in MK1, I will say there are good skins. However, most of them, another thing, most of them cost $10. Where in MK11, the skins were free. So, yep, there's that. So yeah, worse customization in a game with a worse unlock system, and the worst microtransactions on top of that. So, yeah. I think that would conclude the casual section, even though a lot of those things will apply to people like me. But, you know, if you're a casual player that doesn't want to play online, that's all you got. And unfortunately, it's the worst it's ever been. So, now let's move on to not casual stuff. But it's still kind of casual. Whatever, we'll get into it. The online mode. So let's go over all of the problems with the online mode. Well, if you don't know, there is no lobby. Every single Mortal Kombat game has had a lobby since the year 2008. There is no lobby anymore. There's only a King of the Hill room. So, but that's not really a lobby. So there's no lobby. And there is extreme skill-based matchmaking. here's the problem with skill-based matchmaking. So, and this right here, for me personally, this right here is the #1 reason why I have not been playing the game. This right here, #1 reason. And it goes hand in hand with two things: the community and the skill-based matchmaking. And I'm sure that 99% of the people that play this game online are about to go through the same experience that I did. So, the skill-based matchmaking is on in casual matches. And normally, you would think that that's a great thing. Skill-based matchmaking in a fighting game, that's great, right? Here's where it all goes so wrong. Oh, it goes so wrong. Your record in casual determines your skill-based matchmaking. Fair enough, right? Fair enough. If I play a bunch of matches, I should be going against people that play a bunch of matches. Here's the problem. That record transfers over to every single character. So, the game heavily penalizes you for switching characters, even in casual. I'm going to go over my Mortal Kombat 1 experience. Oh, I'm getting kind of bored of this character. Let me learn someone else. Okay, I'll learn this character. This character is a little bit harder, but it'll be fun learning it. So you load up casual match, and it shows your record, right? And your record is transferred across all your characters. So if I'm going 101, 100 wins, 0 losses. I'm doing crazy, right? But I could be playing a character that I've never played before. And essentially, this is where the community part comes in. Because Mortal Kombat's community is the most disgusting individuals I've ever come across in an online video game. And they rival Call of Duty, I swear. So, what ends up happening, and this happens even if you're playing your main character, but it's not as bad on your main character because you're winning most of the time, right? But you're learning a new character, and one of two things is going to happen as you're learning this character. One, the guy is on the mic, trash talking like crazy, because for some reason there's voice chat in a fighting game. So the guy is on the mic, trash talking like crazy, saying horrible things, right? Which only happens in Mortal Kombat. Only happens in Mortal Kombat. Because the fan base is so rooted with other casual games that it brings that over into Mortal Kombat. It's so deeply rooted in casual games. So they're saying horrible things that I've never heard in Street Fighter or Guilty Gear or any fighting, right? Or number two, you're gonna get teabagged like crazy. Or the third, which is not very common, it has happened to me, but it's not very common. You're gonna get a message on Xbox or PlayStation, and the guy is gonna harass you in your messages. Either because he beat you, and normally it only happens when you're losing, but the problem is that I'm only losing because I'm playing a character I've never played before, you know. This guy, what he does for a living is he hops on Call of Duty and UFC 5, and he thinks it just makes him a god, you know. And in reality, I'm playing I remember I was learning Kenshi, the hardest character in the game. Very good character, but very hard character, you know. And it was so frustrating because this was happening to me. You know, these guys are beating me with the easiest characters in the game. And that's not a problem in any other fighting game, you know it's part of the process. But try adding on these guys taunting you, teabagging you, or in the voice chat calling you horrible things, or even in your messages sometimes. You know, add that all on to each other, and it's just like the game just heavily penalizes you for learning a new character, because the skill-based matchmaking, you know, these guys have played, they have a decent amount of time on the game. So even though they're not really, usually they're not really that good, they understand enough to where they could beat someone who hasn't, you know, really played this character at all, you know. And this just doesn't happen in other fighting games. I mean, literally, on Street Fighter 6, in the past week, I've played 2 new characters, and it's gone swell. Nope. Funny thing is, and I have this video uploaded on YouTube, I believe. In the, I played like 2,000 or 3,000 games of Street Fighter 6. I've had one person teabag me. I've played maybe, like, what? A little under 1,000 MK1 games, maybe like 800 or something. And I've had probably 90 people teabag me. And that's not even an exaggeration. Like, it's just that bad. And that doesn't even count the people on voice chat, because it's never good when someone's on voice chat in that game. You know it's about to get horrible. So this right here is the biggest reason why I don't play the game, because the game's matchmaking is the same in ranked or casual. And because Mortal Kombat has one of the worst communities in gaming, it's just so frustrating to even attempt to learn a new character. It's genuinely infuriating. And if you want skill-based matchmaking in casual, fair enough. So where's the lobby? Add a lobby then. You can't just chill out in a lobby and play matches with people. There are no lobbies. So you're forced into casual with skill-based matchmaking against these absolutely disgusting human beings. Let's say some of the worst things possible. And I remember they added an option to voice. I think I made a video on this, unless I didn't end up uploading it. They added an option like 2 months after the game came out to mute voice chat, and I remember I turned it on and I got into my first game and I could hear the guy perfectly fine, and of course he was an absolute loser. So yeah, that's probably the biggest reason right there. You can't just hop into a lobby and just play against people. No, you have to hop into casual, which has the same skill-based matchmaking that rank does, and you have to go up against people who normally you know you would slam, but because you're learning a new character or cameo or both, these guys are really trash talking you, because trash talk and toxicity has always been a part of NetherRealm games, but because there's no way for you to just sit back and learn a character in Mortal Kombat 1, it's just been, you know, multiplied so much worse in this game. So yeah, that's the first reason. The second reason is a little bit of a few reasons combined into one. It's mainly the matchmaking is incredibly slow. It can take you minutes to find one match. Also, there's no crossplay, which every single fighting game has besides Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat is the only fighting game without crossplay. Also, the netcode is extremely bad. The game is very laggy. Yeah, Wi-Fi is almost unplayable. Another thing. For some reason, ranked matches desync a lot, so you actually can't even play ranked right now. So what will happen is you'll get into a match, and the netcode is so bad, it'll just desync and end the match. It doesn't matter. It has nothing to do with how good you or your opponent's internet is. The game is broken, and it'll just desync. This has been a problem for about a month. It's still going on. Yeah. The desyncs are horrible. So you actually can't even play rank at all, because, by the way, to my knowledge, and I don't know this because I've never actually gotten a desync. Why? Because I haven't played ranked in months. So when the desync started, I haven't even played, so I don't know what they do to you, but I believe they give you a loss. I believe they give both players a loss, I believe. I'm not too sure, though, because I haven't, like I said, I haven't even played to get a desync. But I'm pretty sure that's what happens, from what I've been hearing. So, all of that is just what's wrong with the online. No lobbies, disgustingly toxic player base, as well combined with the skill-based matchmaking, making it very unfriendly to learn any character because there's no lobby system, bad net code, constant desyncs, ranked is kind of like there's not much reason to play ranked. You do get rewards for ranked, but it gets reset constantly. Yeah, it's just not great. All of that. And we haven't even gotten to the next part, which is the final part. Balancing. So, the balance of this game is just a tragedy. Because, yes, a lot of this game is very scrubby. You can get away with a lot of scrubby things. It's not... A lot of people thought that if you were scrubby in MK11, this game is going to obliterate you. And in fact, this game has a lot of scrubbiness in it. Here's the problem. Not every character is scrubby. And that's a very big problem. Because this is a assist-based fighter. Most assist-based fighters are broken or scrubby or whatever, you know. The problem is, with Mortal Kombat 1, it's not broken and scrubby. There's like 5 characters that are broken in this game. And essentially, the problem with that is, so far this game's meta has relied on having one character or one cameo. For example, Johnny Cage Cyrax or Baraka Cyrax. You see the same stuff over and over again, and how do they handle it? Another one of their problems is how they've handled it so far. So, yes, Baraka Cyrax was disgustingly broken. Here's the problem. Their answer to that was to nerf Cyrax and just get rid of it. In an assist-based fighting game, the goal of these games is to be as broken as possible. The goal should have been not to remove Baraka Cyrax, but the goal should have been to make every single character in the game as broken and as cheap as Baraka Cyrax. That should have been the point of the game. Make every character the same power level as Baraka and Cyrax. But instead, the way they handled it is, they just got rid of it. They just deleted Cyrax. They nerfed him super hard. So, you know, even the way that they go about patching the game is incorrect, because not only are they not patching any of the game-breaking glitches, you know, like the desyncs, or they're not adding lobbies, or they're taking their sweet time with crossplay, you know, but don't worry, they're adding a bunch of microtransaction skins and fatalities. Don't worry about that. They got you covered there. But when they do actually attempt to balance the game, they just take stuff out. So, yeah, that's another problem with the game. Yeah, so that's just why not only do people not play MK1 as much anymore, but this is also why people don't watch MK1. I don't even know if I should be making this video, because my channel is not very big, so this video could get 2 views. I don't know, but I just wanted to make it just so I can have it out there, you know. So yeah, that's the problem with MK1. No one wants to play it because it's missing so much. No one wants to watch it because it boils down to the same characters and cameos over and over again because it's not a very balanced game. Yeah, that's what it boils down to, really. There's nothing here for casuals. For experienced players, you can definitely have fun, but it's just like you're gonna be seeing the same stuff all day long, as well as dealing with an incredibly toxic online player base. Pretty much everything that I'm saying here can be fixed if you simply go play a different fighting game. Literally, everything I just said can be fixed by playing a different fighting game. And that's what people are doing. So, what I will say is that it's not too late for the game. The game, I don't know if the game could ever make a comeback. Like, I don't know if the game could ever regain its player base. I don't know. But, in terms of the quality of the game, it can be redeemed if they put in the effort. However, we are, we're 4 months in now? And in these 4 months, there has been no effort communicated to us whatsoever to do anything. They said they're going to add crossplay. Whoop-de-doo. I mean, that's a basic feature that should have been in a game. It should have been there from the start, you know? So, we don't really know what their direction is for the game. We don't know what their plans are because there's no communication. They don't communicate anything to you until it happens. So, yeah. Let me know your horror stories with this game, you know? Let me know how you feel. I do know that a lot of Mortal Kombat players are going to be switching to Tekken when that comes out. I just hope people understand that the difficulty of Tekken is going to be something that they are not familiar with. And I hope that you all stick with Tekken and you enjoy the game, but just know that it's not going to come easy. Your Mortal Kombat skills are almost going to tell you nothing about the game. So yeah, just be ready for that. But if you are ready for that, you will enjoy the game. And if you don't want to play Tekken, you should try Street Fighter 6 because that game is almost perfect. And a funny thing about Street Fighter 6 is they also had their own microtransaction controversy. But guess what? They fixed it because the latest crossover microtransactions are actually free. You don't have to pay anything for them. So, yeah. Fighting games are in a good state right now, just not Mortal Kombat. What I can say is this is the end of NetherRealm fighting games if they don't get it together within the next, I don't know, maybe half a year, I guess. They got like 6 months, I would say. That's kind of pushing it too, but this will be the end of NRS, I would say. The community is going to shoot down drastically to non-existent numbers. If this continues, if they don't do something about this. So, yeah, you know, like, subscribe, tell me your horror stories of this game, tell me how you feel, tell me if you feel that it could be redeemed, because I do think it could be redeemed, but they gotta be working on it now. They have to put aside their shop skins that they're working on, and they have to work on everything else first. Matter of fact, they should just take the shop out of the game. Don't add anything to it, just take it out of the game. Because we need to know that they are working on everything besides the shop skins right now. Because so far, the thing that got the most attention out of anything in the game has been the item shop. So, yeah. They got some work to do, but it is doable right now. It is not all hope lost yet, but it is approaching there very soon. So yeah, you know, tell me your stories. Like, subscribe, and I will have more videos of other stuff soon. And Mortal Kombat when that gets new content as well. Peace.
Money Man, win.